Welcome to Our
Okay.
English. I am Priscilla here in the United States, and I have Professor Stephan Hughes in Brazil today.
Yeah. Welcome. Thanks for the welcome. Welcome to everybody
Absolutely.
watching.
Can
Yeah,
you
man.
introduce yourself, sir?
All right. How much time do I have to introduce myself? 30 seconds,
However
45.
much you need.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, people, as Priscilla has rightly said, my name is Stephan Hughes, right? Stephan, my full name, I can give you. Stephan Arthur Solomon Hughes, nicely. Originally from Trinidad and Tobago, the Twin Island Republic, our homeland, our beloved homeland. I've been residing in Brazil for the last 24 years. And so, people call me half Brazilian, half Trini. And in these 24 years, I've been working with, language teaching, which involves everything from design to actual teaching in the classroom, coordinating, training teachers and educating teachers. So I tend to call myself now a teacher educator rather than teacher trainer because I believe in professional development, professional learning, which has to be an ongoing process. So I kind of focus on that, kind of champion that for teachers. And more we see that teachers don't really get any of the support that they need from, let's say, institutionally. So this is in general. This is in general terms. So this is me basically, and I reside in the lovely city of Rio de Janeiro. It's lovely, sunny, hot, and magical, and it's chaotic at the same time. City called Rio de Janeiro, um, which I've grown accustomed to, grown to love. I see a lot of similarities with Trinidad and some of the mess and some of the things that don't work, the things that work, and the creativity. I think what I identify a lot with Brazil, I think what made me really adapt to Brazil was this spontaneity and creativity that I think Trinidadians also have. I think we have it more actually, but it's a small country. But I think we have that. That's what kind of made me or drew me to setting up, you know, a home here in Brazil. That's it.
Perfeito,
Father
perfeito.
of one, yeah, perfect. Father of a lovely
Sweet
daughter,
tea and tea. They
married
said
to a Brazilian.
Trinis
Yeah,
live
that's
their
sweet.
best
Yes,
lives.
that's right. Yeah, we try to live. I think it's not perfect, and we know that. But considering we've had what 30 something years of independence. No, 40 something years. We've had, sorry, I lost count. But still, we're a small nation, young nation. So there are a lot of things that still have to be ironed out. We still have to work on things, you know. But at the same time, I do think there are a lot of things we have to be proud of. And I'm proud of the diversity, uh, this cultural mix that we have, which is unique to a certain extent. It's unique.
1000%.
And that's what. Yeah. I mean, if you look not just in terms of ethnic groups, in terms, I mean, in fact, if you look at us, we are all of us could fit in anywhere, but from Trinidad, right? So you have this ethnic
Mhm.
mix, which is not always perfect, but again, nobody's perfect. You know what I'm saying? So I think there is a lot to be proud of, a lot that we still have to work on, and a lot that we can teach people. I think we can give to the rest of the world. Not trying to be sound of over ambitious or anything, but yeah, I think we can offer some stuff to the world.
I say seek progress, not perfection. You can be
Yes.
your own kind of
Mm-hmm.
perfect. And I love being a
Well,
Trini.
yeah.
What can I say?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, this is it. Being a Trinidadian, I think this. Well, oftentimes a lot of students would ask me this here in Brazil about how, for example, as my Portuguese is considered almost native like, yeah, like sound like a Brazilian. So a
Mm-mm.
lot of times I do pass as a Brazilian. I look, I kind of fit in and blend in and everything. But And then they asked me, how come? How did I do that? And I think because of this musicality that we have as Trinidadians, this whole language mix that I didn't realize we had. But when you get out of the country, then you begin to realize that we do have that ability to switch, what we call code switching. When you work with, because the fact that on the streets we don't speak the proper British, the in English we inherited from the UK, right? We don't speak that like we would do sometimes. We speak Trini, and this ability to switch, I think, has benefited me. In terms of learning languages, listening to accents, um, picking up the musicality. I think that is something that every Trini, I think, has.
1000%. And you and I
You
speak
can,
in
I don't know, you
four
can tell
different
me.
languages.
I don't know if I'm right.
I think so. Can we hear
Exactly.
a little of your British?
My British, well, yes, using the T sound, I can do the British or the British, where I
Oh,
can,
yeah.
just do the stop, the glottal British, and ask for a glass of water, and
Ooh.
tell you that I have a daughter who resides in this country. So yeah, you do have that, and I think we joke as well. You know that back in the day, whenever you want to sound a little more intellectual, and this again, it could be a whole imperialistic colonial, um, let's say, drive that we didn't realize was there. But when we wanted to sound intellectual or more intelligent, we would always put on a British accent. So whenever you wanted to sound, a little more serious, you would say, "Well, okay, excuse me, this is very important that you pay close attention to everything that I say. Blah, 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 blah." And this is something that we would do unconsciously. Huh? I think everybody used to do that. At least in where I studied QRC. Yes,
Oh, yeah.
Rowellians. Yes, give me a
Yui.
Q, give me a R, give me a C.
That's
Yes,
right,
QRC UE, but
Governor.
QRC, I learned is there. Go ahead, sorry.
I said, that's right, Governor.
Yeah, yeah. I'm talking too much. You do some talking.
You are
Like a
doing
true Trini, talking all the time.
excellent. No, my light bulb is going off here now because you and I have some
Okay.
projects that we're working on where we're playing with
Yes,
language. You and I speak four languages to each other all at once.
exactly.
So I'm
Mm-hmm.
loving what I'm
All together
hearing.
now.
But nowadays,
Mm-hmm.
I noticed that grammar is not super, super prioritized because we want that
Yeah,
informal conversation, be able to carry it on.
right.
I appreciate that. So,
Mm-hmm.
Professor, tell me what
Yeah,
inspires
yeah.
you to create your YouTube videos and the content that you provide?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think what inspires me was experience with other teachers. I would say based on, because I lecture at some what they call graduate programs, associate or specialization programs for teachers. So most of my students are actually teachers. I do teach regular students, but most of them are other teachers who work in public schools, private schools, want to do maybe some kind of upgrade to their skills. So they take these specialization programs. One is on English language teaching. So a lot of times they talk and based on their experiences, what I've heard from them, I decide to maybe do those videos to help these share some ideas I have from them, and then I maybe come up with some ideas, especially since I deal with the power technology. We have three encounters, either online or face to face, but now just online, where we talk about technology. So from those discussions, I decided to do some of these videos. So this is one. Another area would be related to vocabulary, since you mentioned grammar is kind of under prioritized or being deprioritized. Although I
Hmm.
do tell my students, hey, grammar is always there. Even when you make mistakes, this grammar. Because
Absolutely.
if you go back to Trinidadian and you have to say things like, oh well, what you is you know that there's a verb. It's just that you're using the wrong form, but you
Right.
intentionally change the forms. If you look at what happens to the Americans, let's say in this case Afro-Black Americans, we call them Afro-Americans, and the whole, the variety that's spoken, the Black vernacular, is based on that, so that they know that there's a correct form, there's an alternative. And this is the problem. You have the, what we call correct and the incorrect, but they're alternative forms, they coexist. So that's why we know that. I can't say you is, where you is, but we say that, what you're doing, and what are you doing, you know,
It's a fun way
things like
to
that,
just connect,
Yes,
growing
or
up
like
in
the
New
go
York
go
and New
connecting.
Jersey. It was just a way of
That's
interacting
it.
that was like on a personal level. You know what I'm saying, I know what you're saying,
Mhm.
but that's just,
Yes.
the
Yeah,
basic
like the
of it.
famous, the basics, So I teach them vocabulary to, every now and again, I try to teach some specific, let's say, idiomatic expression that we only say in Trini. They don't like Trinidadian, but teach them the American, the British, the ones that they're more familiar with.
Hmm.
Which is it's funny because uh, this is even for teachers, it's one of the big areas that lots of students talk about how to deal with idiomatic expressions in English and phrasal verbs. Those are two
Hmm.
areas that they freak out a lot about. You know?
Prepositions too. Mine
Okay.
freak out about
Yeah, yeah,
prepositions.
yeah, yeah. Prepositions. Yeah, embedded in that, I think you have the whole thing of prepositions, which I tell them again. I don't know if they believe me, but it's something that even for us natives, I don't know if we call ourselves natives, for us
You
natives,
call yourself
because
whatever you want.
yeah, is some it does sometimes the question does come up like, is it in?
Hmm.
I know it's in or on. You have
Right.
sometimes there's little questions that come up in your head, or you choose to use a different form. Um, there may be a slight change in meaning when you use one preposition than the other. So there are a lot of things there that it's not that straightforward, you know.
I would
Like
say
the
it's a
fact, for
lot
example,
of
in Brazil,
memorization. Sorry.
yeah, and memorization, but not just memorization, because you have the memorization, you have cramming, right? Um, I think the Portuguese call it decoração, decorar, decorar o verbo.
Mm-mm.
It's not decoration, but it is because when and it connects to what we say in English to learn by heart.
Mhm. Mhm.
So when they say decorar, they say that you use your heart to memorize things, and we say that in English, you have to learn it by heart, learn it by
You're
heart.
right.
But it's not like cramming where you're doing
No.
something just to pass a test.
No.
It's memorizing through songs, through a little fun, through a game, through maybe a quick dialogue that you use to help you remember something, some flashcards to activate your visual
You're practicing,
memory.
you're embedding it into your mindset, your
Yes,
memory.
yes, until it soaks in. It has to soak in. That's it.
Because there are
Yeah, I
common
always think of the black kid.
phrases. Sorry. There are common
I always
phrases
think of
that we
the
use often that you can
yeah,
remember and memorize and practice how to use it. But please continue.
yes. Yeah, no, I'm saying the idea of soaking in, and we think of those. I was thinking of the Christmas black cake that we have.
Mm-mm.
We put the fruits to soak for weeks. I have to talk
Months.
about food. You say Trinidad, you say food, right?
Yeah,
And
no.
you have you put those fruits there soaking in the alcohol there for months. It's the same thing
Fermenting.
with yeah. It's just getting there, and that makes it the richer they are. It of course the quality of the cake,
Hmm.
and then the more you soak that into your head, if you make that analogy there of soaking that into your head by you said practice, using those common phrases. I'm using a lot of corpus tools now with students. We're
I
trying to get them to
saw.
look at
Hmm.
examples from online things, so get them to find examples online using these tools and try to remember those, as you said, like little chunks, pieces and stuff. So if that helps, it will come naturally, as a while.
Absolutely.
And I tell them that it will come. over time. You might even know when you use it. You start using, then you begin to realize, oh my goodness, now it's so thin,
It's
um,
natural now.
natural. I
Mm-hmm.
remember when I was learning Spanish and French, and I used to take notes. I had those notebooks back in the day, writing, and used to put the word I was learning and put the meaning in English or translation
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
in different colors. And then I would try to memorize those. And I remember when I had to sit down to do those like tests or anything, or you do your CXC, your A levels. I did my A levels in Spanish and French, GP, sorry, and so on. And then I would remember, as doing the paper, the image of that page where I
Mm-hmm.
would remember the page with the word, the translation, and the sentence it was in. I could
Right.
visualize it in my head. There, I was like, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. And so it's like that. You just have
That's
it.
the
It's
key.
there. It's there, and you just recall. It's developing those strategies of recall that we use in
Yes.
vocabulary,
It's a process. It takes time, it takes practice. And if you want to progress, you
which
will
people.
work towards it.
Hmm.
So I will
There
invite
you go.
you for next Thursday to come to my class where I teach teachers how to teach English, Instituto Mundo Novo. All right. And he'll be my guest speaker.
Wow.
Deal? All right now.
Yes. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Cool.
That's a good one. I like that.
Yay.
Right
So,
invitation. Thank you
how?
very much for the invitation.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for making time for me.
Mhm.
So, how do
You
you
would ask
stay
a question.
motivated? How do you stay
How do I stay
motivated?
motivated?
That brain of yours is
Yeah, that's
probably
a
like,
good.
whoa, I
Yes,
can't
on fire.
imagine.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. How do I stay motivated? Yeah, I think try to take things in stride, but take it with a little bit of humor. And again, this I would attribute this to our heritage as Trinidadians. I think you could identify with that. That
Hmm.
we know things sometimes tough, things hard, but like that song, we jamming still.
Oh, yeah.
That there's a song. I don't know for those of you who don't. I've never heard it. Jamming, we use this word when we talk about calypso, which is our art form,
Yes.
and meaning to dance, like jamming meaning we're dancing. So no matter what happens, we keep going, we keep our head up. Um, that's the idea. So I think that is something that I have used as kind of motivation. And when I get in front of my students, when the class starts, I think I don't know if it's Jekyll and Hyde kind of thing, but I transform really, and I forget everything else that happens outside of the classroom. I forget, what's going on, and focus on that moment with the students.
It's
So I think
automatic.
that I've been
You
able
go
to do
into
that.
professor
Yeah, yeah,
mode. I feel you.
yeah, yeah.
When that
But
camera
it
comes
just it
on,
takes time.
it
Yeah,
does take time. But you
online has been much
also,
easier.
yes,
It's been easier, but okay,
but you want to separate
you know.
yourself from what's happening around you and focus on where, your passion is, your motivation is,
Yes.
what comes
Mm-hmm.
naturally to you. And for me, the
Okay.
moment my eyes are open, I'm out of that bed, I'm already, got my jams
Yeah.
on, getting myself
Exactly.
going and
There
motivated because you
you go.
you don't want to bore yourself and you don't want to bore your students.
There you go. Yeah, no, it has to be an experience for them. And just to give a quick example,
Hmm.
the classes that I have with these encounters with these teachers are usually 2 day encounters. And it's a whole day thing. So it's like from 8 in the morning till 5 in the evening,
Oof.
the afternoon, yeah, evening or afternoon. So that does take its toll. If you think of people who work, teachers who work, 10, 12 hours every day, Monday to Friday,
Hmm.
and then on a Saturday they have to come to sit down and listen to a lecture about prepositions or about phrasal verbs or something.
Right, right.
It's not exactly your idea of a Saturday, a fun Saturday, um, or we would say something that is useful for them. So I think of that too, and I try to make it as enjoyable as possible for them. So I have fun and they have fun. I think everybody is enjoying themselves at the same time. So I've been trying to do a lot of in the past. I started doing that. before we had the lockdown, I started doing a lot of, um, you know, things out of the classroom or get them to move around, a lot of physical activity where they had to go on,
Yes.
run. Like kids, we get kids to do total physical response, but not exactly the same. I would do like, speed questions, dating, we get to move around and ask each other questions, go from station to station, to help maybe get the ideas going.
I
So
would say
yeah, little things you do to make it
interaction,
more fun.
yes, for sure. Interaction is the most fun.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to sit there because
Yeah,
then your energy level starts dropping. You start feeling like, ah.
there you
But
go.
once you're up and moving,
Mm-hmm.
you're practicing, participating, and I'm sure you're a joy in the classroom. So, you know,
Try to behave myself, not to get too carried away, But yeah, once I start, let's go. Don't. As they say, don't stop me. Don't hold me back.
super duper.
I try to make it enjoyable. That's the most important thing.
Absolutely. So, as online teachers, you and I share a lot in common, teaching ESL and, teaching teachers
Right.
and working on content and videos
Mm-hmm.
and all of that good stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
What would be your
Woohoo.
message for a teacher who is new to the online world?
Yeah, yeah. I think the new thing, I wouldn't focus on the technical aspects. Okay, there are the technical things about how to, for example, use a platform like Zoom, little tricks of the trade and how to mute students and putting them there using the chat features. All those things I could tell you about and go on and on about that.
Hmm.
Use sharing your screen, making sure students maybe you give them maybe remote control feed to help remote control, but give them control of your mouse so they can move things around. Give them some kind of agency
Hmm.
in the classroom. So that would be nice. But I think the most important thing is try to connect with your students, even though we're talking about computer mediated communication,
Hmm.
but connecting, like really looking at them in the camera. Sometimes teachers might say, but they don't turn on their cameras. Okay, I understand that. You can't force people. But what you need to do if you're starting off is try to connect by either sending them a video before. So what you could do is record a quick video, not necessarily about the content, but a quick message telling them how much you're looking forward to seeing them. Like, let's say your class is 2 weeks from now or the day before, let's say the following day. So
Yes.
today you have a video. And say, hey, I'm looking forward to our class tomorrow. We're going to be talking about this. Can't wait to see you. And maybe bring something, ask them to bring something. Why don't you bring a special object you had from your kid, your childhood? We're going to talk about that. So make sure and bring that object or a picture. Set aside a picture of yourself. I want you to talk about this picture next class. Looking forward to seeing you. So that way you kind of build a bond
Yes.
with them. I think that's one thing I would tell teachers to do is try to connect with your students. Those real quick activities like that. Um, Sometimes I do like a Kahoot or something with
Hmm.
questions about me. So they try to find out about me, eh, and then they come kind of knowing a little bit about me before, So that kind of helps to see me as a real person. I think that helps.
Yes. Yes, Mr. Brazilian Trinidadian Professor.
Woohoo!
Look
Yeah,
out for
man.
Professor Hughes and I. We have our new project that we're working on. It's top secret, but look out for
Oh
us.
yeah.
Happy New Year.
No spoilers.
No spoilers.
Mhm.
And get ready for an
No spoilers. No
amazing,
spoilers.
amazing year. No spoilers. Shh.
Woohoo! Yeah, yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
so
That is
much,
it. That is it.
Professor. You are an
It's a
interview
pleasure.
pro.
Oh yeah. All
Yeah, you
right.
did
I'm always
amazing.
thinking that I'm overdoing,
You are
but I'm good.
fine.
I like that.
Less talking for me
Yeah.
because when I start talking.
All good. Well, somebody has to talk.
Thank you so much.
All
So
right.
I look forward to talking to you soon. You did so well.
All
And
right.
say bye.
Ooh, bye
Bye bye.
bye.
Toodles.
See ya. Toodles.